our Pivot in Progress episode on landing strategy and operations roles at top companies. I'm your host for today, Arjun. We have been doing a lot of sessions from Pivot in Progress around different types of careers, what kind of paths people are choosing today, the challenges they are facing, how they are achieving their goals. This particular topic that we are going to talk about has one of the most, I would say, deepest level of interests that we have received from our audiences today in terms of, the various questions around strategy ops roles, what they are, how to find them, what companies expect from candidates who apply to these roles, and how do you grow in that career. So we have two excellent speakers with us today. They are just behind the stage. We have Jay Amin from Fractal, and we have Harinath Kumbha from Reliance Retail. If we can bring them up to stage now, that would be great. All right, great. Hi, Jay. Hi, Harinath. Good to
Hello.
have you both. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, good to be here.
All
Hi
right.
Arjun, I'm trying to
Mm.
connect from the different laptop. Can you accept the my request because
Okay. I think our team should be able to do that. In the meantime, what we can do is start with a quick round of intros. So I can go first. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Arjun and I'm the founder at Pivot. So I have worked in HR for over 14 plus years in primarily New York, US, as well as in India. And I've done a lot of management consulting, board of director consulting work for executive leadership performance and rewards optimization. We started Pivot about 4.5 years ago, and the core premise is very simple but very strong, which is that the world of work is evolving very rapidly, and with that, the type of requirements that companies have and the kind of skills and experiences that individual candidates need also need to evolve pretty much in sync with that requirement. So our goal is helping people navigate different types of job searches and career transitions in the most smooth and successful manner. We will talk more about how we make that happen with the help of industry experts such as Harinath and Jay during the course of this conversation. But that's a little bit about me. I'll turn it over to Jay first. Jay, welcome again to the session on strategy ops roles. If you could just start by sharing a little bit about your background and what has led you to where you are today.
Sure, Arjun. Thank you for having me. I've been in corporate strategy for 12 years of my career. In fact, that's all I've done throughout my career. Started out from engineering college in investment banking. Spent 2 years at Credit Suisse. After that, when did my MBA, as this was a pre-MBA analyst program, so felt that I needed to do my MBA. And after that, spent a couple of years in consulting, and then after that in corporate strategy, starting out at the Boston Consulting Group. Worked in industrial goods practice area and financial services. Worked with clients in those areas in India consulting team, and then moved on to Lodha Group, which is one of the largest residential real estate players in the country.
Mhm.
Spent 4 years in the corporate strategy team, about 4 years in the corporate strategy team, uh, working on functional transformations, one every year, choosing one every year, and then kind of transforming a function end to end. And then lately, in the last, and after that, I did feel the need to kind of move into a more tech oriented role, and been working with Fractal since last 5 years now,
Mhm.
in working with the founder and CEO, and working in chief of staff slash strategy and operations kind of a role.
Got it. So I guess it's been more of a, strategy consulting and then in-house corporate strategy through and through. It seems like,
Yes,
very
yes, yes,
hard-bred strategy professional.
yes.
Great. I think
Mostly,
it's
mostly been in either consulting or been in corporate strategy roles throughout my career, and done that across real estate, tech, financial
Mhm.
services, and industrial goods practices.
Perfect. All right. I think Harina, it seems like your tech issues have been resolved. I hope.
I don't know because I switched the laptop, other laptop, and
I think it's working fine. We
it's
won't
working.
jinx it. Whatever you have done is working fine. So let's go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome again. And if you could just share briefly, Harinath, a little bit about your background and what you do today at Reliance Retail, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, we are all strategists. So we're strategizing from since we are birth, and we studied whatever we wanted to study. And I studied from IT Madras as mechanical as I dreamt. And my since my eighth class, I was to be a mechanical engineer. So in my then I studied in IT Madras. I did my dual degree there. Then I worked at the BHL. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be in the part of the nation building, but I worked there for 5 years to realize that you can't build anything
Hmm.
unless you are in a decision making power. So then I went to I am Lucknow where I did my MBA. Then I joined in a company, startup company. So it's like it's a e-com company which is like classifieds where they will buy sell automobiles, used cars. So I was one of the beginning employer there. It's called the firm called cartrade.com. So there we have worked on the algorithm, built the entire business model and end-to-end sales strategy. Everything we have built. Then we worked with. I got this opportunity to work in the merger for the Cartrade acquired Carvale. So then I had to work with both the algorithms and get the best out of it. So at one point in time, I was working with the 8 platforms like uh, be it as an app or M sites or iOS platforms. So I was trying to integrate. I was super busy. So at that point, I got this opportunity. I got a very good call from a very high position from Reliance, uh,
Hmm.
where they gave a very good. So I'm sorry to say that this, but I never given an interview in my life. I only got the calls and I found it good.
Responded to the opportunities
Yeah,
that came your way.
yeah.
Interesting.
So I got this from call from Reliance, and they asked me to come down. I went there, and they explained the project, and I told them to give me a day, and I'll come back. The next day, I said okay because the project was interesting. Then I joined
Right.
Reliance. So in the Reliance, I had an opportunity to work in a multiple projects. Every time I was like getting bored, I was getting an interesting project. So
Hmm.
now I'm sort of like 7 years in Reliance. So every time I wanted to switch, my boss keeps scolding me, saying that, oh, this is an interesting project, you have just do it. So
Interesting.
yeah, that's how my journey is. Reliance is fantastic company. Many people have many opinions on the Reliance, but I got an excellent team. See, end of the day, you're going to see with the team and your boss. If they are good, then everything is good.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, that's what I do in the now. Currently, what I'm doing in the Reliance is I'm working with the staple foods. So if entire staple food business, like around 6,000 crore business is there, which we handle. We have five our own facilities, manufacturing facilities, where we convert our the bulk to the retail packs. Then we have got around 200 plus vendors who we
Hmm.
manage. So across all the categories of the staples, like from your atta, dal, chawal to dry fruit, spices, everything we cover, including oil as well. So this is what I'm handling right now. So there is no relation. I was in manufacturing, then e-com, then I navigated to now atta, dal, chawal. So that's my
Very interesting. All right.
yeah.
So it seems like you have had a little more diverse journey and kind of different sector experience. Although it seems like you started as most people would, in have a mechanical engineering background, then MBA, and then started with BHEL. So we'll cover all of this during the course of the conversation. But the first topic that I want to start with is, let's define what a strategy ops role is, because I'm sure there are many people who already know this in the room, because generally Pivot's audience is mid-career professionals. We don't work with students per se. We work with folks anywhere between their, let's say, mid to late 20s to mid to late 40s, right? So I'm sure a lot of people know this, but strategy ops is one role which can actually take different shapes and forms depending on the organization's requirements, right? And obviously, if you are in management consulting, then it has slightly different flavors and contours compared to an in-house strategy role. So, Jay, I mean, you've worked in consulting, you've worked in strategy in-house, multiple companies. How would you typically define a strategy ops role? What are the areas that are standardized across the board, and what are the areas that you have felt really get customized based on the organization?
Yeah. So the So if I were to think through, right, in-house consulting team, let me just first take a crack at just the consulting teams versus in-house consulting teams. I think both of them are necessary to kind of drive change, right? So typically, what happens is that consulting teams bring in a lot of new thinking, thought leadership, as well as diversity of capability. And in-house consulting, and they are there to get things started, but most of the
Mhm.
times in-house consulting teams not only drive the initiative to the closeout, but also kind of take it and scale it. So that's how I would put it, right? So in consulting, in most of the cases that I've observed, and it's not true now, but in many of the cases, what really happens is that you are working with a team on the inside, which is typically a corporate strategy team, or an operations team, or a strategy and operations team, to kind of look at the business and kind of drive the objective that the CEO wants or the board wants, and from there you kind of break it down into a bunch of initiatives, and
Mhm.
start to kind of hand it over to the internal teams. So internal in-house teams I think, to my mind, are the recipe for the success for any organization. But you kind of need the external consulting teams to come in with new thinking, new capabilities, new ideas. Uh, there are projects where consulting teams also drive implementation, but there too, what I have observed is that the internal strategy and operations team are involved from the organizational context. You must understand that many of these organizations are very, very big and very, very complex, and the external consulting teams don't really have the context. And to drive any initiative to success, you need somebody within the company to who can help you understand the organizational context, help you navigate
Mhm.
the outcomes that you want to get to, and kind of keep holding the rhythm of the project, right? So strategy ops is essentially, if I were to summarize, how to make a company run smoother and faster, review
Yeah.
margins, run programs, scale products. Corporate development, to my mind, is more about the big moves. So how to raise funds, how to interact with investors,
Mhm.
how to go public, how to build partnerships, so on and so forth. And to my mind, chief of staff roles are around, how to drive CEO's agenda. I'll just pause here and then get to
Yeah. No, I
more
think
detail.
that's helpful. Thanks for sharing the context around, different types of roles within strategy ops and what kind of responsibility, charters and portfolios that, these roles bring to the table. I think, what we have also seen is it's not always called a strategy ops role. It could be called, like, sometimes, like you said, COS, chief of staff role. It could be a program management role at times as well, or in-house consultant kind of role. So the terminologies may vary, but the responsibilities could overlap. And even within responsibilities, like you pointed out, it could be, the growth and GTM, which is the backbone of the company, but at the same time, could be the financial strategy, could be the, talent
Yes.
strategy, operational efficiency, like many different things that could
Uh,
happen. Harinath, based on your experience, so you've talked about the fact you started as an engineer, you transitioned to car trade, into a product-oriented role, then you focused at Reliance in a more strategy oriented capacity. Now, as you have transitioned, firstly, what has been the most effective let's say transition strategies for you, meaning things that have helped you become better at strategy roles since you didn't start like Jay in a strategy or in a consulting role? And secondly, since you have been at Reliance and you talked about you worked on so many different projects, it would be good to know how those projects are determined in terms of what should we allocate to Harinath. Is it just based on the company's priorities, whatever the company's strategy is, Harinath should be working on that, or is it more based on the fact that Harinath is excellent at XYZ projects and skills, and hence we should allocate those projects which he would be able to add more value on. So these two things, if we could cover, that would be a good start.
It's always me. It's not about
Mm-hmm.
the company, what they want. It's all about me, because if I am interested, that's the beauty of the strategy, in fact, actually. So, if you're interested in a particular kind of role or particular kind of, everybody has a way to take a strategy role, see a strategy role. Okay? So, when some proposals is put up, like being in Reliance is one good thing is that I have plenty of proposals and I can pick and choose where I can, where what I wanted to do actually. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm privileged here. So then we see I see where I'm fitting in, like what is attracting me. And suppose, for example, there is a we have a sourcing team. So sourcing team, if you say sourcing team, also if you consider it an ops, so there are a lot of people going on the field and trying to procure, sell, all this stuff as a Monday, people going on a Monday and all. That really doesn't attract me. So, and doesn't really buzz me. So then I say, I mean, I can't do justice here. So we can, and moreover, because I have transitioned from so many roles, now I am enough confident. I have that I can say that yes, I can do justice here. I can't do justice here. And you don't simply say that I can't do justice. You have to say that I can do justice much better in this particular role. So before, I mean, you choose a role, you have to navigate every up to a certain level wherever the visibility is there. Then you have to be saying that hey, this is the value addition which I'm going to do, because this is where the gap is, at least some
Mm-hmm.
level, some high level. So I always feel that it's more. I mean, of course, people see me in certain way. Ki I have worked in certain fields, so they'll give me options, and we can choose. Okay.
So just one follow up here is, I mean, since you are saying that it's mostly centered around your capabilities as opposed to the company's strategic priorities always, how did you initially, especially when you were transitioning into Reliance and let's say the first 1 or 2 years were realizing what your capabilities were within a strategy role, what helped you figure out key, okay, out of let's say the 10 proposals that are being dealt with at Reliance, these are the two that I think I can add most value, and the other eight should probably go to other people. So what helped you figure that whole process out of your capabilities in strategy?
Okay, then I'll go with an example. Like first, initially when I was offered this role, and I was mentioned, there's an Andhra project, and we had to work with the government, and we had to set up a whole business from the start, from the scratch. Nothing is there on the field. That's an exactly where my trigger is, like, because in either it's in the car trade, I started from the scratch, and I love to
Hmm.
build companies, or I love to build the businesses. So that triggered
Hmm.
me. Point number one. Point number two is something. I'm from Andhra, so I have this take giving back to the Andhra, which again it triggered me. That is emotionally it got triggered. The third thing is I worked with the government. I worked with the heavy industries in BHL. I have that
Hmm.
experience of working. So these experiences, I thought I can bring it to the everything I can use, and I can start this business, because Carter is a startup and Reliance is a big, massive project. So I decided is like, oh yeah, this is one place I can mix both BHL and Carteret. I can
Hmm.
run this like startup, and I can deal with all the folks like BHL. So that's how, I
Hmm.
mean, every time you navigating through existing skill set and try to acquire new skill set, and again you recalibrate your skill sets, again new projects come, again, and pick and
Hmm.
choose. It's always between the marrying between your skill set and interest. Emotional interest is also very important here. Then like, and by the way, when you get, I am blessed that I got the opportunities, like I see, these are the four areas where you can work. So some people might not have that I mean, opportunity.
Sure. Sure. All right. No, I think that's helpful to understand. I think two different journeys for the same roles. Jay's is a little more, I would say, linear in my mind, and Harinath a little more non-linear. But I think that kind of goes on to show that for this role there is no set career path to get into this role. You could come from consulting and the more traditional MBA background, but sometimes you could start as a more in the technical role, and then over a period of time evolve into a strategist. Interesting. Now, the next thing that I want to really focus on, which is the most common question we get today, is what are the most lucrative but also the most impactful opportunities that exist in strategy ops today? Because again, we have consulting, we have startups, we have MNCs, large conglomerates like Reliance. They are all hiring for strategy professionals today, right? And in different forms and fashion: program managers, COS, etc., etc. How do we structure in our mind, based on the experience and prior skill set that we already have, which opportunities to go for? Like, is there a framework to decide, okay, I would be a better fit for consulting as opposed to in-house strategy, or startups versus MNCs, right? Is there a way that people can figure that out better? And obviously we want to talk here about what organizations are also looking for, because while Harinath, I completely see your point of view that a lot of it stems from your personal interests, and what opportunities you have on the table. But at the same time, you have to look at the external job market and see what are the ground realities, and ensure that you're aligning yourself with that. So if we can cover from both angles, Jay, would you like to go ahead
Yeah,
first?
sure, sure. So it depends on first. It depends on what kind of what gives you pleasure, meaning, and strength, right? What I mean by that is which environment, whether it be a big three consulting, whether it be an in-house consulting team of a large conglomerate, or a strategy role within a tech startup, right? Which one gives you more pleasure, meaning, and strength? By pleasure, meaning, and strength, what I mean is what is pleasurable or joyful to you, from, because each of these have a different role gamut and different day to day, right? So what day to day really kind of gives you joy, right? If solving a lot of problems in a day with a lot of diversity gives you strength, then gives you joy, then go for a text go for a strategy role in a tech company, right? But if you
Hmm.
want to kind of really go deep, solve just one sharp problem, uh, just go into in-house consulting teams in a large conglomerate. They are working, they run large programs which solve deep problems, along with building out the processes, and you get to see the results in the end. And
Hmm.
last, if you really want to kind of make this fast paced, right, and look at a lot of problems in a very short period of time, then go for consulting roles. That's the quick answer in terms of what gives you joy, and what gives you pleasure. What gives you meaning is also, whether you want to kind of see the impact of the work you've done, whether you want to kind of really apply yourself very very quickly and get to a result, or then go for a consulting firm, and whether you want to kind of uh, build out something, build products, then go for a tech strategy role in a tech firm, right? So
Hmm.
it depends on where your energies are, as Harinath said, and then
Hmm.
kind of choose from there on. All three are super interesting. I don't know if I have answered your question completely, but yeah.
No, I think it definitely gives a starting point and a framework to look at in some structured manner. Harina, what do you think, right? Like, there's so many different opportunities present today in strategy ops, more than they used to be, let's say 10, 15 years ago, right? Um, what are companies looking for when they are hiring strategy professionals? What is the most important criteria which they say, okay, this is a must have in our hired candidate? Because I mean, one thing is clear, I mean, based on your own experience and background, it's not necessary that they will only hire another strategy professional to come into a strategy role. It could be a consultant, it could be a finance or product specialist, sometimes even an engineer. So what are companies really looking for? Can you help us decipher that?
See, actually, companies usually look for strategy, ops strategy, especially somebody who's actually really worked. in ops. So that is one big factor. Why? Because operations is something which starts and it's never ending actually. So your company, when you start, you build strategy, you build strategy of like how to start, and then you you build your ops, and your entire lifetime you keep fixing the ops. So one of the question which you asked, like, we have so many opportunities. Yes, we have so many opportunities now, because and going forward the opportunities will go many folds. Why? Because somebody who has been grounded, who has been in the ground, and who is actively participating in the ops, they will see a lot of problems there, a lot of problem statements there, where you can optimize, you can make it better, you can save some bugs for the company. In Reliance, it's like more or less processes are set, and only thing we are trying to do is like we are trying to make it cheaper and better, so faster. So this is one area which is like constantly we are trying to fix it, like whether you implement Six Sigma or whatever it is. So all these excellence tools we keep implementing and we keep driving that. So somebody who is hiring, they look for such kind of attitude you have got. So they will and the confidence that you have got. Suppose they will throw you live cases actually. So live cases, and they will ask you to. They'll see that how you're thinking, and I mean this is any MBA question, like MBA stuff people say. So they throw you a lot of cases and scenarios, and especially the problems which they are facing, and they're not expecting an immediate solutions for the fact. They just look for the thought process. And one thing they say that one thing they look for is like how pragmatic this person is, and what is the salient features which is trying to bring. So that is one thing which people definitely look for. And why it is so ops is so important and it's going to be evergreen is, again, I know, I mean everybody is talking about AI. So I will also bring the AI part here. See, lot of stuff, lot of roles can be done by AI, like you making your PPTs or talking to your higher management, and communicating to your ground team. This can be done by AI, but ground team you cannot replace by AI, because you have to
Yeah.
go, you have to do ops there. Unless you have knowledge on the ground, unless you have grip on the subject, you cannot do anything. So many things, many see today's what is a strategist do? Or I mean, one of the strategists do many things, but one of the thing is like communication. So whatever the management, what is their vision for next 5 years, they'll break it down into smaller portions, and they make they say, tell it in such a language that even a ground team person can understand. He can have that feel that he's a part of the whole process. And
Yeah.
similarly, whatever the ground team facing issues, he will put it in a such a terms that higher management will come to know. So this communication over the period of time will reduce, because even the ground team, they can use the AI and they can have a report and they can show it to the higher management whatever they want. What I'm trying to
Yeah.
infer here is ops is evergreen. It feels like when I was doing my MBA, people used to feel that ops is a dry subject, but no. Now ops is the major thing which is going to be in future.
That's very interesting. Actually, I love that counter take, to be honest, because I think a lot of times when people think about strategy roles, when they come to us, also, let's say there's a product manager, there's a category manager, or somebody who's saying, I actually am thinking about strategy ops, COS kind of roles. A lot of time when we ask them the driving motivation behind that target role, a lot of times they talk about, oh, I love strategizing, I love brainstorming new ideas, I love, you know, thinking about what can help us grow. So it's a lot of thinking, lot of strategizing, less of doing and execution, right? And I think what you have said here is something that we try to tell people as much as possible, which is that execution beats strategy any day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
Arjun,
you
I
need,
totally agree.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jay, feel free to add if you have any
Yeah,
point you want to
I think
highlight.
a couple of thoughts here, right? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. So, how you behave
Yeah,
with each other, what kind of rules of engagement you set across the organization, it beats any strategy possible. If you kind of ensure how people behave with each other, um, half of the problems are already solved. right? Number one.
Mhm.
Number two, I think you have to fundamentally figure out, where you want to play. So, take for example, if you are playing in, if you are taking up a role in a large company, where essentially they will essentially test you for structured problem solving, whether you are
Mhm.
able to influence stakeholders or not, and whether you are able to creatively reimagine processes or not, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, you not only have to kind of be at 5,000 feet, but you also have to kind of be at 1,000 feet and kind of design the process, because there's a big organization depending on you to kind of put things together. So I would say even this role in a large company would be 90% execution and 10% thinking. So there's no
Yeah.
thinking in a room kind of a situation or role in that case. In smaller companies, the teams are much smaller, and so they are looking for growth, and growth comes from creative differentiation, speed of execution, and impact you can create with small groups, and how much influence can you wield to how much energies can you generate behind an idea, right? So all of this comes in case you're kind of going to work for a smaller tech company versus a large conglomerate.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fair point. Um, I think that's something that really clarifies a lot of things, because many people ask, okay, how much of the split is there between execution and just pure play strategy? And I believe they go sort of hand in hand, but there is a significant focus on execution and operations here for
Yeah, yeah.
most roles. Unless
So
maybe if you're in consulting, I think consulting might be the slight outlier because you don't have executional
Even
capabilities.
even consulting now, their bread and butter is ops consulting and large scale transformation programs. So I don't
Yeah,
think that is true. Even for big three, a large part of their business comes
yeah.
from operational consulting. They run 12 to 8 months of large scale transformation programs.
So
Yes,
they
I
are also getting into the trenches. That's
yes.
what you're
Yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. No, very interesting. All right. So I think that's a very good point with regard to the operation side of things. But one thing that I just want to ask here, because we get this question very frequently from people who are considering a strategy ops role, but may not be hearing back from the companies. They always read in the JD that, okay, XYZ experience is needed, MBA is needed from a top tier IIM, and both of you are IIM graduates, I believe. Right. So is that really true? Like, can you not land a role without a top tier MBA or having very specific strategy ops kind of an experience already?
So
Harinath, if you want to take a stab, or
yeah, yeah,
whoever actually, go ahead.
yeah. Over to you, Harinath, and then I'll add.
So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's a bit true, but not true at all. Like earlier, like 10 years before, yes, of course, uh, people used to look for the degrees. Now, people are look for the keywords. Okay, so if you have keywords, then that is fine because and nowadays I keep hearing a lot. I don't care, especially the startups. Actually, I don't care which college you are from. I don't care which what you bring into the table. And there are some, especially from strategy roles. Usually, there are multiple rounds as well. Like it's not the one person decides; the multiple people decides on it, and that they try to grill you as much as possible because I mean, it's okay. Sometimes they don't want somebody is from premium institutes as well. So what I'm trying to infer it like how to crack it. I mean, if you audience to for your audience, uh, you need to use a lot of keywords. What you worked on, and it's okay. I am these tags are not that there's no weightage. I don't think so. There is any weightage for the IMK tag. But if you have done something specific or in fact you try to create your CV for the firm. If you can't do that, there's nothing like that. I have around 10 CVs with me. Okay. And we keep seeing these reels also, like one fellow will be makeuping and like Chinese and suddenly he changes to Russian because his CV changes like that. Depend on the company, you have to keep changing and put forward what the company needs. So how much you study about that company and in fact I if I have time I 2 minutes I will take this one. So one young chap, which is just college graduate, and he went to the HDFC, and he was sitting in a lobby, and no, he wanted an internship, and nobody was caring about the internship. Nobody is calling because everybody is busy. Then in the meantime, he went to receptionist, and he was just spoken something, and then when he got an opportunity at the end, he just went, "Hey, you guys have a problem." Everybody started in the room focusing on what is the problem he's trying to say. He's saying that your receptionist, I am observing the receptionist is moving from her place to washroom, and every time she is going, it is taking 10 15 10 minutes to come back to the her desk. Why don't you shift that desk from this place to a different place where she will be closer to even the people who are coming in, and even the washroom as well. So that way she can spend more time on the reception desk than on loitering here. So this, of course, they didn't accept that, but they really amazed with the idea which this fellow brought. So what I'm trying to say is that show your confidence. Don't play back foot. Nobody IM tags and all, like there are so many IMs now. People don't even know. Everybody is putting an IM. Putting every people are like one few 3 months course they are doing, and they're putting an IM tag. So IMs are
Mm.
like, I don't think so. It's
It's
like
not
a
the
competition of
biggest
that.
differentiator as it
No,
used
not
to
it.
be,
You
perhaps.
have to
Yeah.
go full force, confidence. Just study the company which you want to go. If you want to put your full efforts there in the CV, that is
Yeah.
the screening part. Later on, it's all you once it is screened.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
valid points. Jay?
I think Harinath is right. What you do in last 3 years of your career or wherever you are, if you're a student starting out, great. But what you do in your last 3 years of your career matters because the half life of knowledge and business is just 2.5 years, right? So right now, by 2.5 years, every business changes. Knowledge in the industry changes, so on and so forth, and AI is just speeding up that change, right? So the world is changing very, very fast, right? So what you did in the last 3 years matters, and there I think you can do a couple of things. Yes, degree is a great signal, and it can take you far in the first 3 years of your career. But then I think after 3 years, what really matters is what have you done in the last 3 years when you started out, right? And there, I think a couple of things can kind of help you differentiate as a candidate. Before they meet you, right? You should have some kind of zeroth moment of truth with you, and that's your digital footprint, right? Why don't you show your thought leadership? Wherever you can, your thinking on a subject, on an industry, let's say on LinkedIn, write blogs, so on and so forth, right? Yes, having a sharp academic footprint matters, and it doesn't have to be that you have to be from an IIT or an IIM. You could have been just a very, very good researcher at a local government college in some state, and it should be just fine, right? As long as you
Yeah.
have that spike of doing something game changing, it should be just fine. And putting out your thinking in reputable media outlets is also something very, very interesting. I think that can kind of help you differentiate yourself in this kind of things. um, on the first moment of truth, you should think about having a very, very sharp CV, as Harinath said. How is it relevant to this role, right? And yeah, you kind of are spending a lot of time doing a lot of academic work, doing a lot of work in your current organization, uh, being a responsible citizen just outside your house, right? So how have you captured that in your CV that is relevant to this role? What kind of attitudes and behaviors are you demonstrating in the resume itself is important. And lastly, when they meet you, right, are they hearing the stories? Are they seeing the full context of, are they hearing the stories of how you kind of solved a particular problem? What did you work on, and what was the big picture? And then coming down
Yeah.
to how did you solve a certain problem? And then lastly, were you persistent when things got really tough, right? Because no, there are no easy problems to solve in business. Everybody can tell you. Uh, there are no low
Yeah. They
hanging
won't
fruit.
hire consultants if they were easy.
Or they would have been solved by somebody else, right? There are 5,000 people in an average organization, so somebody would have solved something.
Yeah.
Everybody is there to solve problems.
Yeah, no, fair point. Fair point. I think let's go to some of the questions that we are getting from our audience here. Um, some very well thought out questions, I would say. So there's first one, I believe, from Akshay. The question is, in consulting strategy roles, we expected to bring in structured problem solving, but with AI now being able to generate frameworks and even simulate scenarios, how do you see the unique value of a human strategist evolving? So, and plus, how can AI be leveraged to scale experimentation, testing multiple business models, or go to marketplace in silico before committing real world uh, resources? Yeah, I think very good question, very pertinent question. I have so we have a lot of strategy experts who are part of our network, and many of them have told us that the way work was being done by consultants, by strategists, has changed significantly over the last 3 years. Especially the this kind of model scenario evaluations, and more of the thinking part of things as opposed to the operational execution side of things. So either of you can take this. Whoever wants to go first, please go ahead. But let's really talk about. I mean, I don't want to dissuade people from saying don't use AI. Sometimes people say don't use AI, please. I think AI is the future. So if we can keep that as an assumption that AI will be there, how do we incorporate it into our day to day?
I'll
That's
I'll
something
take
that.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah,
interesting question. You please use AI. Okay, the more you use, the more it will become your buddy. Okay, so but having said that, you should always have that consciousness ki what it can do and what it cannot do. Okay, so it can be your it can be very fast your co-worker, your buddy, but it cannot. It's always one step lower than you, because you are the one who is on the field. For example, I'll tell you, I'm working with the staples. There's not much data available in the staples field. There's some. If I ask me AI, what is the market share of Reliance, it just throws some random 7-10% market share. Where in the hell it is 7%? It's not even, it's way less than that. Then I just feel like, hey, I just pat on the back, you did a wrong math, but it just elaborate and tell me how did. Then it will give some kind of logic. You'll say I triangulated here and there, and I said bullshit. It's not. I'll give you the number. Take this number. Now you recalculate rest of my all the problems. So what I am doing here, I'm building a 10 page or 100 page strategy. I am seeing that key points where I can contribute. I'm an expert in it, so I'm controlling that AI actually. So these are the points which without this, everything is everything is trash there. So these key nuances you need to look for these key nuances. Now because of AI, we can be very focused in areas where human intervention is required. Only human can see and touch and feel those things. So once you get an expert in that, rest is like you use the AI for that. Okay. So that
Harinath,
part
can
is
you clarify just one point? So you talked about the areas where AI can support, areas where AI can't support, and human value is higher in those areas. Give me an example, right? Like, for example, I mean, you shared where AI may not be helpful when it lacks data or when it lacks accuracy, it starts to hallucinate. But where have you seen AI perform really well? If you can give a specific
yeah,
example on that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I will tell you. Like I'm like my boss told me like, oh yeah, Harinath build this. Management told me that we want to increase the staples for 20x next 5 years. He's asked me. My boss asked me build a strategy for immediately. I want it for tomorrow. Then I said, okay, yeah, just tell me like what are the frameworks available. What are the things which I need to look for to build this strategy for 10x or 20x business. It gives you that framework which are not, you don't even think of. Like sometimes you miss those points. Like I have not never thought of like I should include the capex here. So I thought we have wonderful facilities, we use it, but it mentioned that hey, you need to have the capex, you need to calculate ROI, you need to calculate these stuff. Then it then when I saw those, yeah, I need to do this actually. So then
Mhm.
these are the things which AI can help you out. Like something like it is like a memory kind of, or it will give you like ideas to navigate further. Okay,
Sure.
that is where AI does.
So kind of, I mean, firstly brainstorming partner, but also like ensuring that you haven't missed out any critical concepts or parameters. Jay, what are your thoughts on this question?
So I have the inside seat to the world of AI, and I can tell you it is getting better and better at a much faster pace than we all imagine. It is as good as a PhD student right now, and that is a very high level of intelligence. It can clear JE with 100 out of 100 marks right now in take for example, yeah, in a few seconds, right? So take for
Yeah.
example, Fractal has this open source model called Fathom. It is as good as O1 Mini and O3 Mini in math task, and it is we kind of built it out and released it on Hugging Face before 2025, before JE 2025 paper came out. And the moment the paper came out, we kind of checked how good was it, and it scored 100 out of 100. So AI is getting very good, and it is as good as a PhD student right now. Moreover, it is powered by a lot of the data on the internet, right? So it can do a fabulous job at putting together research, synthesizing documents, writing codes, converting one format to another format. It's very good, but the underlying point is that it can't be better than you. You can't. The point is that it can't be better than your abilities, because the moment it is, you can't leverage it better than your abilities, because the moment it goes beyond your abilities, there is your ability to debug an issue goes away, right? So take for example, you are a coder who is operating at level 10, and you encounter a bug and a solution from AI which is at level 11. You don't even know whether the solution is right or not.
Hmm.
So you are limited, AI is limited. Your abilities to limit leverage AI are limited by your own abilities and your domain expertise. You can type in a prompt and get a very good answer on healthcare, but if you are not a doctor, you really don't know whether something is right or not, right? So what AI has done is it has democratized knowledge and expertise up to a certain level. How can humans kind of thrive in that kind of an environment? The reality is you have to go deeper, become a more expertise oriented person, and then kind of leverage AI to do your work faster. You can't kind of only assume that will be able to kind of do your work better, and rely
Right.
on it without being a domain expert on certain issues. So take for example, if you are an oil and gas expert, you can leverage AI end to end to kind of solve all your problems from supply chain to marketing to dot dot dot, right? But if you don't know what AI is throwing out, you
Yeah.
will not be able to use that well. So
One of the things, Jay, sorry to interject, but
yeah,
I think the points that you have and Arinath have shared are very valid and I think make a lot of sense. I hope people are taking notes here because there's just so much wealth of insights. But one of the key points that I want to bring up, because this is something we frequently hear about, what is the unique value of human strategists or human capabilities in today's Gen AI times, is that human connection. For example, AI cannot help you work well with other people if you are not able to work well with other people. For example, if you're a strategist and you need to work with ground level operations folks, as Harinath was pointing out, plus you need to work with your senior leadership team. And there are conflicts between what the leadership strategy is demanding versus what the on ground execution team is saying is possible. AI cannot solve that conflict for you. You need an intermediary who's good at communicating, conflict management, consensus building, those kind of things, right?
yes.
So, anything that either of you want to touch upon quickly on there, because we have not spent
On
a lot
this
of time
topic,
about this.
yes, there are some things which are uniquely human skills, right? Take, for example, creative thinking. Take, for example, learning to learn. Take, for example, figuring out that there is no one right answer and kind of going with one which you feel based on your experiences
Hmm.
intuitively right. All of these are uniquely human skills, including humor. Right. So all of these are uniquely human skills, and AI will never get it because AI doesn't have that context of 25 years of you growing up in an environment which is uniquely human. So
Yeah.
uniquely human connections and uniquely human abilities like these will kind of take people far going forward, because
Yeah.
rest of it is getting automated through AI for sure.
I totally agree with that, and totally agree with that. I just add on to it. Like currently, what I am doing is I'm started writing. I'm trying to improve my creative side. I'm trying started learning how to write, and I did my improv comedy courses. So I'm a trained improv comedian now. So why I'm doing all this stuff? Because the minute AI hit the market, then I thought, hey, where is the human here? I wanted to increase my human side. Till now, I was
Mm.
engineer. I was a this and that. Now I started doing my sketching, so where I can see colors more better. So this like last 2 years, I'm working on myself in this part, and it really showed up the way my work is like the way storytelling has improved, the way I'm gelling with my team is improved. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things which has improved on this, and everybody will get that enough time to work on this.
Yeah. Fair point. And let's go to the next question because I think we might run out of time otherwise. We don't have to show this question on the screen because it's a long one. It's from Rajesh Sundaran. And Rajesh's question is actually it's three part. We'll try to cover as much as possible. First one is very interesting. It is how to search for leadership positions in strategy ops, especially when they're not always advertised. And the ones that are can be filled very quickly because the competition is very high. Any thoughts on this one? Which I agree with the problem because we work in this field, right? And we have seen this that a lot of times the positions are not advertised, they're filled internally or through executive search firms. And sometimes what happens is the ones that are advertised, they get 500 plus applicants within a week. So it's a very tough, stiff competition out there. So, yeah, Harinath, go ahead. I think you raised your hand on this.
Yeah, the best strategies or best decisions are done on party table. So when people are partying, they do great decisions. So network. There is no other option than network. Okay. So being in premium institutes, yes, you'll get some leverage that you'll get into those good network, but that is not stopping. You have to be attending all these conferences and make yourself presence felt. You have to bring your humor. You have to be going and talking to the person, just person of interest. You just go and meet him, so they will remember you and keep appreciating in them in the LinkedIn or say hi, say good, all this stuff. You keep in touch with them. So
Hmm.
when this opportunity strikes, you should show your interest as well. You should be active. You should be then they will remember you. So they will the opportunity approaches you, they directly tell you, or you have to be selling yourself. There's no any other alternative to that.
Yeah. Jay,
Yeah,
any thoughts on that one?
yeah. One thought is that, wherever you are, right, with your coworkers, with the CXOs you are working with or the CEOs you are working with, definitely kind of try to have a great equation with them, and try to kind of ensure that you work with them on great terms, but you also leave them along with them on great terms, because these careers are vast, right? Your career is 40 years, 45 years of career that you will have, right? And what essentially ends up happening 10 years down the line in your career is that, some of these CEOs call you up, some of these CXO calls you up, and they are trying to solve a problem, right? For them, there is an objective to achieve, and they need a guy, they feel confident, they need a guy or a girl, they need confident about achieving that objective. So I think definitely build a network, as Harinath said, but more importantly also, do right by all of them, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is, show your thinking on some of these social networks. Write a blog, write a paper. You are part of an industry, know that in and out, and you should be putting your thoughts out, to shape the thinking of other participants in the industry, also to kind of shape your thinking, because the moment you start writing, right, your clarity of thought becomes better and better. And lastly, kind of definitely, I think, build credentials through networking and going to some of these conferences, and meeting people beyond your current work environment.
Yeah, I think well structured answer. I hope Rajesh, you were able to take some insights from that one. I think the other question that Rajesh has is actually similar to one other question from a different user. So I think we can cover both with with one go, which is that in the current market, um, there are two types of strategies that people are employing when they apply for such roles. Right, one is where you have more industry specific expertise, right? So let's say, Harinath, you're working in Staples, you can call yourself a Staples expert. Jay, perhaps in the data and AI field, more so on that front. um, and then there are generalist consultants out there who know different frameworks well. They have prepared through multiple case studies, worked on broad transformation projects, operational projects, so they can be sort of plug and play, not in a very in-depth manner, but at a at least at a surface they can plug and play those frameworks into multiple scenarios. So what are companies looking for? Is there one type of skill set preferred over the other, meaning industry in-depth expertise is preferred over the generalist kind of profile positioning, or the other way around?
Harinath, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I would like to say you should know about something, everything, and everything something. Okay, so that's the thing actually.
Like a
So
jack of all trades, master of one kind of a thing.
yep. You rightly said that. So
Yeah.
you while I mean you're a strategist, right? So you're first if you have to strategy yourself, like what is your career path, where it is going. You should be zooming in, zooming out, and seeing like whether you're on the right path or not. So you're laying your steps, right? I mean where you are going, where you have to you should have that visibility. So of course you need to be an expert, and at some point of time you will be after doing so many roles, you will settle down somewhere. Oh yeah, this is what my field is, and this is where I'm seeing myself. Yes, of course. But initially it is not true. Initially you should switch and try multiple
Yeah.
roles, and you should and industries also like to hire people, fresh graduates, for the same reason. Why? Because they bring some fresh ideas. But over the period of time, yes, you have to settle down at some level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
to
answers.
my mind, Arjun, very quick 1 minute answer. The world is moving towards expertise oriented individuals. It doesn't matter whether you are a tech expert, or it doesn't matter if you are a energy expert, or it doesn't matter if you are a retail expert. If you can show credentials, if you can show impact, if you can show cross functional impact, then it doesn't matter whether a strategy professional belonged to a real estate company and now is in tech, or somebody belonging to tech company and now moving to let's say engineering and R&D.
Got it. No, I think that's very clear and very straightforward. I think everybody's saying that expertise is needed, as especially for mid-career professionals, I would say. So that is something that you should think about doing, going in deep into one sector or one area. All right, I believe we have kind of overshot our time just by a minute. I believe there's one more question here. We can see if we can try and take that. It's from Manisha. It's a slightly unique question. I'm not sure if it pertains specifically to strategy ops. So it's someone's from a non-tech background trying to build personal projects or blogs to stand out in the hiring process. What kind of projects would pique your interest? Some examples would really help. I think Jay, you mentioned just now
Yeah.
about creating blogs and yeah. So
Yes.
what can
Yes.
somebody do that's in strategy? Yeah.
Yeah, I think tech is a field where not only engineers but non-engineers are welcome. And take for example, people with design expertise, people with quality control expertise, people with people with behavioral science expertise, so on and so forth. Right? Tech is a vast field where you not only have engineers, but you also have non-engineers who are looking at customers, trying to figure out what to build, and then going back to the engineers and sharing with them, what to build. So I think, doing projects, doing blogs with whatever is your capability and skill, right, and doing it in a deep manner really kind of should help you. Even if it is a simple comparison and analysis of 4 5 different products in one single domain, right? And 4 or 5 businesses in one single domain, it's just fine. As long as you can apply your unique skill, whether it be from the business side or from a design side, and you can kind of put your thinking out there, it should be fine.
I think so. That
Harinath, any thoughts
yeah,
you'd like to add?
yeah, that's a great thing. And question is like, I think this is in the best times now, because tech is not so much needed in this present world because of the AI again. Like everything can be done. All that you need an idea. Uh, if you have an idea and whatever the skill set you have, you sharpen it to that extent that you can put forward that idea confidently, and there is always a lot of help available around, so they'll join you, and you can collectively do a lot of
Yeah.
put forward your idea into play.
All right, great. I think with that, we'll come to a close for today's session. I think we have covered a lot of ground here, a lot of different types of problem statements that we took up with Jay and Harinath. So, thank you both so much for all your insights, your experiences, and very practical ground level sort of advice for people as that they can actually take away and implement. Rather than sometimes it becomes very abstract and hard to kind of resonate with. So I think it was good that we kept it very focused on practical insights. And thank you to everybody who joined us today. I know it's late on a Thursday evening, so I really appreciate you spending your precious time away from work or family. And do check out mypivot.work in case you're looking to land your next role, whether it's in strategy or in a different domain. There are likely many things that could potentially help you. You can connect with experts like Harinath as well as Jay. Um, and in case that personalized mentorship or guidance would be relevant for you, I think it would make a world of a difference in achieving your goals. So, yeah, with that, we can wrap it up. And thanks once again. I hope everybody has a good rest of their evening.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jay.
Arjun.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you,
Thanks,
Arjun,
Arjun.
for this wonderful opportunity. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes.
Thank you for having
Thanks.
me.
Thank you, everyone.